A flickering neon sign promised refuge from the endless highway, but the silence that swallowed the parking lot spoke of darker things. Between the clerk's unsteady hands, corridors that seemed to breathe, and shadows moving where no shadows should, every instinct screamed to flee. Yet escape proved the most dangerous choice of all. What began as a desperate bid for rest became a race against time, where checkout wasn't marked by a key left on the desk, but by something far more final. The long drive had stretched on for days, and a bone-deep weariness clung to the person behind the wheel. Finally, a cluster of lights appeared on the horizon, resolving into a small collection of buildings huddled beside the road. A motel. Not grand, not inviting, but offering the promise of a few hours of sleep. The brightest sign, though flickering and sputtering like a distressed firefly, beckoned with a weary glow. Pulling into the parking lot, a sense of unease settled in. The lot was mostly empty, and the building itself seemed to sag under the weight of years and neglect. Inside, a dim light illuminated a small counter behind which stood a man whose eyes moved constantly, never settling. He didn't offer a greeting, didn't ask about the length of stay. His fingers trembled slightly as he pushed a key across the worn countertop, a small metallic click the only sound. The walk down the hallway felt longer than it should have, each step echoing in the silence. The room was at the very end, and the door protested with a long, mournful groan when finally pushed open. Dust motes danced in the faint light filtering through the grimy curtains. A dampness permeated everything, rising from the threadbare carpet with an unpleasant smell. Attempts had clearly been made to clean, but the scent of harsh chemicals couldn't quite mask something else, something heavy and unsettling. The bedspread bore dark, shapeless marks, remnants of something scrubbed away with frantic energy. A crack ran like a jagged lightning bolt across the bathroom mirror, and when the water was turned on, it initially sputtered a rusty brown before clearing. Exhaustion won out over discomfort. The traveler sank onto the edge of the mattress, boots still on, and closed their eyes. It wasn't a restful sleep. A sound, a dragging scrape, eventually pierced through the darkness. Opening their eyes, they peered through a gap in the curtains. Down in the parking lot, two figures were busy. It was the man from the front desk, and another, larger figure. They were maneuvering rolled carpets toward the back of a plain white van parked beneath the wavering neon sign. A sickening realization began to dawn. As one of the rolls shifted slightly, a pale hand slipped out, its fingers scraping uselessly against the gravel. A jolt of pure terror shot through the traveler. The man from the desk spoke in hushed tones, his words lost to the distance, but the message was clear enough. This wasn't a place for rest. It was something else entirely. A cold comprehension settled in their bones. The room wasn't an offering of hospitality, but a carefully prepared space. Clumsily, they grabbed the key, their fingers fumbling with the unfamiliar metal. Every instinct screamed for escape. The parking lot loomed, a vast expanse of shadows, the car a distant beacon. The door clicked softly as it closed behind them, and the crunch of gravel underfoot seemed deafeningly loud. Halfway to the vehicle, a voice cut through the still night air. There he was, the clerk, bathed in the buzzing, erratic light of the sign. In his hand, something flashed, a metallic glint that didn't reflect the light so much as absorb it. There wasn't time to analyze, only to react. The traveler ran. Boots pounded against the asphalt, breath catching in their throat. Reaching the car, hands shook as they wrestled with the door handle. The engine sputtered, then roared to life. Just as the vehicle lurched backward, a fist slammed against the driver's side window, the sound echoing like a gunshot. Tires squealed in protest as the car sped away, leaving the figure silhouetted and motionless in the empty road. Hours later, the traveler found themselves in a brightly lit diner, amongst the early morning bustle of a highway truck stop. Hands trembled too much to hold a coffee cup, let alone dial for help. Eventually, the authorities were contacted and a team was dispatched to the motel. They found nothing. Vacant rooms, the overwhelming scent of bleach. No evidence of anything amiss. The official report dismissed it as a false alarm, a product of exhaustion and an overactive imagination. But the memory lingered, a dark stain on the edges of consciousness. Somewhere out there, the flickering neon likely still casts its deceptive glow. The clerk, with his darting eyes, likely still waits, and a silent, terrifying truth hangs in the air. At that place, checkout time is always before 11. What do you think was really going on at that eerie motel? Leave your comments below on your thoughts. Like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell for more content like this.